Hey, it's Matt McGinley. Happy Monday, February 22nd, 2021, 222. Does anybody remember Room 222 back in the day? Listen, my pedigree is television advertising, so most of what I've been avoiding is commentary on television. I've been focusing on digital marketing and really video for business owners and relating their brand to consumers, their prospects, their clients, their customers. I've kind of avoided going into television programming and ads for the very specific reason of having to leverage a larger organization and reducing my capacity to do one-on-one with people. However, that's all changed this year because I'm watching what's going on in the world of television, and I just, maybe I've just gotten to that age where I've seen enough, seen a few things, and know a few things, and have to say a few things. All right. So today, February 19th, a couple of days ago, came across Fast Company doing a feature take, winners and losers, who wore it better, who did it who did it well, who did it better. And for this particular segment, they're saying that the Chevy ad that they ran that had a lot of Disney icons and content in it was a fail, and then talked about Cartoon Network and anti-racist PSAs as being the winner. So let's talk about these and unpack them. First, I'm going to just play the Fast Company segment, and then we're going to go ahead and tap into it. Okay.
The force is too strong in Chevy, and Cartoon Network's new anti-racism PSA sees plenty of color. I'm Jeff Beer, and this is Fast Company's brand hit miss of the week. The miss this week goes to Chevrolet. During the new season premiere of American Idol, Chevy launched a massive new ad campaign for its Bolt line of electric vehicles. The spot opens with an electric car charging in the garage as a family packs it up for a road trip. Mom calls the little girl Tink, and the little princess waves her wand to start the car. And so begins a truly weird brand collaboration, with Chevy tapping into the Disneyverse for its EV pitch. Part Bolt ad and part Disney World promo, all set to Bob Marley's Sun is Shining. This is as big advertising as you can possibly get. Clearly, Chevy didn't want to take any chances in getting as much attention as possible for its new Bolt line. So it looked to the most popular pop culture factory on the planet for some of that sweet, sweet halo effect. And it's milking every moment. There's even a 14-minute making of feature about the commercial. More branded content. Chevy's parent General Motors has committed to making 30 new EV models by 2025. And this Magic Kingdom-sized partnership appears consistent with the company's overall marketing playbook of recruiting reliable icons of pop culture to generate excitement around a new technology. For the Super Bowl, it was Will Ferrell trash-talking Norway. Now, it's the Millennium Falcon. This type of thing is obviously nothing new in marketing. Hell, it's not even new in electric vehicle marketing. See Ford's holiday-related blasphemy last Christmas using the Griswolds to sell its electric Mustang. But collaborations like this work best when, as the Jedi like their Force, there is balance. Two brands of equal or close strength come together to make something special for fans of both. Adidas sneakers or General Mills cereals. But the Bolt is completely overshadowed by the Disney overload. And when the scale tips too heavily one way or the other, that unique element is lost, as is typically the lesser known brand. And in this ad, the car remains almost as forgotten as a certain conspicuously absent Disney dog. This week's hit goes to the Cartoon Network. One thing that gained momentum this past summer was the idea that it wasn't enough to just not be racist. To truly be helpful, to be part of the solution, was to be actively anti-racist. This week, the Cartoon Network launched its third in a PSA campaign called Crystal Gems Speak Up, featuring members of the Crystal Gems from Steven Universe. It starts off as a typically generic PSA. Until Amethyst, a purple alien, interrupts to point out that color actually does matter, and how it makes no sense to equate her purple alienness to these two humans.
My experience with anti-black racism is really specific. Other people of color experience other forms of racism too.
Okay, I have to stop it right there. Okay, so I'll go into this part of it in a second, but one of the things I have to kind of just state and set straight at the beginning here for this Cartoon Network anti-racist PSA, kids are not racist. Okay, so come back to this. All right, this is not going to be really where we're starting. We're going to go back and take a look at what's going on with the Chevy ad. All right, so
As a family packs
this
it up for a
family
road trip,
is
Mom
obviously black. They're in a car, they're going on a trip, and whether they're driving all the way to Disney World, Disneyland, the brand synergy and the joint venture between the two brands has to do with um, probably the media spend and GM Chevrolet spending money across all of the Disney platforms, all of the Disney properties, all of the Disney programming. And in doing so, they're creating um, a universe of an icon of the American vehicle. And what the American vehicle and the automobile industry represents in America is freedom. So they're linking not the concept of automobiles so much, but it's the larger concept of freedom and freedom of imagination. That's the synergy here. I don't know that it has anything specifically to do with electric vehicles other than whatever the vehicle is powered by. If it's powered by a flux capacitor, it's still going to be a Chevrolet brand. Um, at some point, I would expect to see more of the, as we call them, media icons. And I'm going to actually talk about that a bit too. The thing with media icons is they're very reflexive in that they only work in the universe that they exist. So, in other words, a television icon works for people who watch television. A literary reference works for people who read. So, if we start making references to Shakespearean plays in our advertising, it's not going to appeal to people who don't read Shakespeare. So what it follows is how is there um, iconography in American pop culture and American pop media? Is there a unifying effect? Is there an inclusive effect? How do we deal with diversity within a world that relates to media pop icons that historically have excluded and marginalized people? And when I say people, I'm talking about everybody basically. When you look at it, it's not only people of color but women, children. Okay, so to reference the idea of media icons and pop culture icons, one has to draw a distinction between what does the icon represent. So it's not so much that it's a unifying concept between GM and Disney and who is the larger brand. It's what do they share in common. And now when you start to look at what do they share in common, what do you want the consumer to think that they link? All right. So can you think of something more wholesome in terms of media than Disney? Think of a brand that relates to children and come up with the name of the brand in terms of media that is wholesome, that relates to children. In a parent's mind who's buying a car. It's not going to be Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. It's not going to be. Um, it might be Toonami with Hanna-Barbera and the retro. Um, is it going to be Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny, or is it going to be the new WB? Is it Power Rangers? So you see what I'm saying? So you have to think of it from a kid's world and a parent's world. What's the unifying effect, and how do you get to that feeling of the consumer getting into a car, and what's the feeling that you want them to have? Safety, right? You want to be free in your car to go where you want, but you also have to have the idea of are you safe? So from a media standpoint, what programming is safe? Okay. So that's, I think it's a brand hit between Chevrolet and Disney. And to go even a step further, when you look at the Disney properties, inclusive of ESPN, now you can kind of weave in ESPN. You can weave in Monday Night Football. And once you weave in football, hey, I think you have the whole thing there. All right. Because at the end of the day, your deal with ESPN, your deal with NFL, your deal is with the Super Bowl. All right. So this is a campaign that's going to extend for years as the leverage point for the GM universe, and to link it with something like Disney's universe, I think is a very smart move. Um, you could probably make the case for linking it with MS, NBC, Comcast, or Paramount. But again, you're looking at, let me reinforce this, you're looking at a brand that needs to be inclusive of families, all types of families, all configuration of families, and children. And that has to be safe, and you can't make a misstep with that. So, are you going to get edgy content now and then from the other studios? Possibly. It's okay, and people watch it. But are you going to get edgy content and you're going to have to make a phone call and say, pull my ad from that content because it's too edgy, or I don't want to be associated, or there's too much sex, or there's too much violence, or there's too much profanity? What are the core values? Okay. So again, I don't think that where we have to go with this to be a brand hit is to come up with a new way of advertising or a new way of getting someone into the car. I think you have to understand what the values are of the brand and how that has to be something that happens in the mind of the consumer, and that when they look at your brand, they're equating it what they how it makes them feel. And is that feeling that they have consistent? Can they count on it? And can they rely on it all the time? Will they be able to say, yeah, I can relate to Chevrolet because I can relate to Disney? All right. So that's my take on the Fast Company brand hit and miss of the week as far as Chevy is concerned. Okay. Now, let's talk about Cartoon Network a second. All right. I'm going to play you a video of, well, I don't want to, well, let's go on back here. Let me see what I can do here. Hang on. Be anti-racist. The Crystal Gems say, be anti-racist, a public service announcement from Cartoon Network. All right, so for a kid to be anti-racist, um, it's like saying to a kid, go over your friend's house and play, but don't fight. Well, it's my friend. We're going over to play. Why are you telling me not to fight? Why is that entering the conversation? All right. Say, go play with your friends, have a good time. Go. Kids are not by nature anti-racist. They're taught to be racist. They are exposed to racism. They are exposed to microaggressions. Okay. So the behavior that they pick up is from the adult world, that they emulate, that they mimic, that they model. It also comes from media. All right. So if you really want to have the unifying idea, take it to the adult world. Make the PSA relevant to adults. Have the discussion about how an adult behaves and how that impacts a child's behavior. All right. That's the conversation. That's the PSA, not this. Okay. So I think this is a big mess. And unfortunately, I don't know why. Um, I don't know why this would have been something for Fast Company to actually get behind and promote, other than the fact that it's there. Um, I have no problem with them doing it, with Fast Company doing it any more than I have problem with Cartoon Network doing it. I'm just saying, to, if you want something effective in today's world, make sure your message is targeted to where the problem is. Kids are not the problem. All right. Okay. I just want to show you one other thing here. Um, there's a cartoon called Craig of the Creek, and let's roll this.
Finally, we're home.
Out of the way!
Shoes go in the cubby, and coats goes in the closet.
See ya! Time to go to the creek. The creek is a place where we can all be whatever we want. We can be the hero of a book that doesn't exist, or just a really misunderstood guy.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. It could be a treacherous quest. What do you say, Kelsey?
I'm in.
All right. We have to make our way through some dangerous territory. First, we must pass the couch of teenage mysteries. Who knows what evil goes on here? Through the poison ivy grove.
I'm so itchy.
Along the treacherous aqueduct. Across the pet cemetery.
It's been too long since I visited my fallen comrades. All 47 of them.
There it is. The sewer. You sure you guys are up for this?
We ride together, we die together. Craig, I think we might want to get out of here.
If I make it out of here without a serious bacterial infection, I'm never hiding again. Because I'm a Creek kid. We're all Creek kids, and we should always be proud of that. See you guys tomorrow?
Yeah!
My coat back on the hanger, and here I am.
You smell weird.
I am weird.
All right, so actually, Craig of the Creek is the metaphor. Whether or not it's intentional, it's kind of, as an adult, you have to know how to read things that you're going to show the kids and understand what the kids' world is. Craig of the Creek would actually be the PSA, and to explain to adults how the kids' world operates. How the kids' world operates is that school is not a place where kids really want to be. It's a prison to them. It's industrialized, it's institutionalized, and it forces a reality on them that kids just don't naturally like. So their world actually a child's world actually begins in that area after school, 3 o'clock onwards. And it's a short window because it gets dark. Parents come home, dinner time, homework, and so on and so forth. So it's a very thin window, Monday through Friday. And Saturday, it's like all day is the kids' day. And when you think about television programming, that's where children's programming existed. After school, Saturday morning, and there was a slight window between 7 and 9 Monday through Friday in the morning, but that was a very, very thin slice, okay, of time. So this is, where it begins is
Shoes go in the
the
cubby,
idea
and
of
coats goes in
freedom,
the closet.
See ya!
open door,
Time to go
the place
to the
where
creek.
kids
The
can
creek is a
exist
place where we can all
and all be themselves. No, so there's no purple here. There's no alien here. There's no abstract concept here. There's only what kids bring in to the world themselves and see themselves as kids. That's the unifying concept. So there's no racism here. There's imagination, all right, but they're not bringing in that concept. Let's play racist. They're bringing in concepts that are enabling them to learn how to deal with the adult world, how to set up rules, how to play according to the rules, and how to self monitor what's happening with rules. And you went out of bounds, or that's out of bounds, or tag, you're it. So the idea of the kids' world is to manifest a reality for themselves, self contained, self regulated, with no adults. All right? So what they've
be
learned
whatever
is
we
that
want.
every
We can be the hero of a book that doesn't
every idea
exist,
that they
or
have
just a
is
really
going to be
misunderstood
challenged.
guy.
All right?
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. It could be a treacherous quest.
What's the worst that can happen? Okay, so where do they learn that? That's from the parents' world, right? Parents are always saying, "Be careful, don't hurt yourself. You'll shoot your eye out. You'll poke your eye out. It's dangerous. Don't go to the creek." This would be the last place parents would let their kids go, right? Into some abandoned field. Think about it. You can't let your kid go on a play date across the street without adult supervision and dropping them off at the door. I'm talking about from school to the play date? Do they walk? The kids walk to school? In urban areas, they do, but in the suburbs, no. Kids are driven to school. All right. So this concept of this ultimate freedom of kids being able to go wherever they want to do and do whatever they want to do, that is the anti-racist message because that's the anti-systemic, anti-institutional message that's happening here. All right.
What do you say, Kelsey?
I'm in.
All right. We have to make our way through some dangerous.
All right. Now, this is relevant. All right. And if you have to, freeze the frame and review it, do so. But just understand that to the kids' world, they're mapping out all the things that are dangerous and they're starting to organize their world into places they can go, places they can't go. What are the risks? What are the rewards? Okay. So when they talk about, you know, the overpass, Go Mart, okay, Slurpees, okay, um, going to the sewer, okay, I haven't really done enough on this, but I probably will go back to it just to share the concept. But the trip to the sewer was a very specific episode, but I think that from a metaphorical standpoint, it relates to the idea of where ideas come from. And I even would venture to say at this point that the sewer is the internet, that the sewer represents everything that has now been pumped into the internet that has been related to American pop culture, world culture, things that kids would not normally be exposed to are in the sewer. That's the internet. All right. And then if you watch that specific episode, something happens in the sewer, which is really quite endearing, but it does send a message. It does send a message to, the message is actually very chilling. I think what I'm going to do is pull up that episode and do a breakdown on that. All right. So anyway, that's my
Territory.
take
First, we must
on
pass the couch of
what ends
teenage
up happening
mysteries.
with
Who
Cartoon
knows what
Network
evil goes
trying
on
to do an
here?
anti-racist
Through the
PSA.
poison ivy grove.
This is really the vehicle for it, not
Along
Jeff,
the
to
treacherous
send a positive message to
across
kids
the
that
pet
what
cemetery.
they do is right,
It's been
that they're
too long
loved,
since I
that what they
visited
do
my
is
fallen
correct.
comrades.
It's a tough world
All
out there,
47 of them.
that they have to be incentivized to
There
do
it
their
is.
best on their own
Sewer.
for values that they have.
You sure you guys are
based
up for this?
on How they
We
treat
ride
each other,
together, we die
and how they
together.
know that they should treat
Craig,
each other,
I think
what's
we might want
kind,
to get out of here.
what's fair.
If I make it out of here without
And
a
that if they
serious
don't have those
bacterial
values at
infection,
home, that they
I'm
have
never
those
hiding
values
again.
inside.
Because I'm a Creek
They
kid.
need to make
We're
sure those
all
values
Creek
stay.
kids, and we should always be proud of that. See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. My coat back on the hanger, and here I am.
You smell weird.
I am weird.
So the message is I am weird. In other words, I don't have to fit in to what anybody's concept is of me. That each child has a unique identity and a unique personality, and that they're entitled to have it, that they have worth. And to me, that's a message to give to kids rather than face them towards anti-racism. All right. So anyway, my name's Matt McGinley. This was a impromptu live stream. The reason, look, here's the other thing too, is the reason I live stream now is that for me, I've learned that the filter that I would normally present would be editing. And there's a time to edit and there's a time to stream. My only problem with editing is that it takes so much time and I usually take things out rather than be inclusive. So if you've watched this up to this point and you would like for me to do more, let me know. If not, I'm going to do them anyway. All right. So this is the official chamber. My consulting group is Managed Media Services, and whether or not you're interested in official chamber or whether or not you're interested in managed media or anything like that, this is really what I like doing. This is really the focus that I have. You know, I had done a lot of kids TV as my kids were growing up. And when I say, I mean, I was a buyer for children's television programming ads, um, ads for toy companies. And it just got harder and harder and harder to do that work and to come home and be with my kids. So that's kind of why I stopped. All right. Anyway, there's some other things I want to get to today, and I'm going to take a break now, and I'll be back later um, if you want to see more of this. All right. Take it easy and have a great day.